Imagine standing in a place you once swore was safe, only to realize the walls have been quietly rotting while you weren't looking. Someone you trusted, someone you let deep enough to touch the most fragile parts of you, has taken that access and twisted it like a blade. Their words don't just hurt, they slice through your sense of reality. Their actions leave marks no one else can see, and suddenly you're staring at a reflection you barely recognize. That's the kind of betrayal that doesn't just bruise your heart, it rewrites the way you see yourself, the way you see the world. What follows is never loud. It's a suffocating silence, the kind that crawls into your head and makes a home there. You replay what they did, again and again, like some cursed film on a loop, each time hoping it'll make sense, but walking away more broken than before. And that's where the real war begins. Not with them, but with you. You start feeding yourself lies. Maybe I deserved it. Maybe I wasn't enough. You turn their cruelty into your truth, and without realizing it, you hand them the keys to your mind long after they've walked away. This is where Stoicism cuts through like lightning in a storm. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality," and those words become a mirror you can't look away from. Because the truth is, they hurt you once, but every time you replay it, every time you give that memory more oxygen, you're the one letting them hurt you 1,000 more times. Stoicism isn't about pretending it didn't happen. It's about ripping the power back from their hands and saying, "You don't get to own me anymore." There's something almost violent, but in a beautiful way, about that shift. You stop being the person shattered on the floor and start becoming the sculptor, chiseling something unbreakable out of the mess. Every betrayal, every scar becomes raw material. They thought they buried you, but all they did was hand you the tools to forge yourself into someone they can no longer touch. Someone whose calm is more terrifying than their chaos. That's what this video is about. 5 Stoic ways to handle people who hurt you, not through revenge, but through mastery. Because when you master yourself, their power dies. So don't just watch this passively, engage with it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Because what we're about to build here isn't just advice, it's armor. And by the end of this video, you won't just know how to face those who hurt you. You'll stand in front of them and think, "You no longer hold the power to break me." Write that down in the comments. Let it be your declaration to the world. My pain will not control me. I control how I rise from it. Now let's get into it. Number 1. See their actions as a reflection of them, not you. When someone betrays you, the first blow isn't always their action. It's what happens in your mind afterward. You replay their words, their lies, their cruelty, and somewhere deep inside, you start to wonder if it says something about you. Maybe you weren't enough. Maybe you were foolish to trust. That's the trap, believing their actions are a verdict on your worth. But their behavior is not a mirror of you. It's a mirror of them, their chaos, their insecurities, their fractured soul. That's what you're seeing. You just got caught in the reflection. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Most people forget the second half of that truth. When you let their betrayal define you, you hand them power twice. First, when they hurt you. Second, when you let that hurt become your identity. The Stoics teach us to put space between what happens and what it means to us. That space is where your strength grows. That space is where you reclaim yourself. Think of their cruelty like arrows being fired at you. Your instinct is to catch those arrows, hold them, analyze them, bleed from them. But what if you didn't? What if, in your mind, You simply stepped aside. Let their arrows clatter to the ground, useless and harmless. Their aim says something about their character, not yours, and you don't owe them the satisfaction of carrying wounds that aren't yours to bear. This isn't about pretending it didn't hurt. It's about refusing to let their reflection become your reality. You don't excuse them, you outgrow them. Every time their voice echoes in your head, remind yourself, this is who they are, not who I am. Their actions reveal their weakness. Your response reveals your strength. That's how you win, not by striking back, but by refusing to let their poison live in you. And when that realization sinks in, something shifts. You stop needing their apology to heal. You stop needing their approval to feel whole. You see them clearly for what they are, and more importantly, you see yourself clearly for what you are, untouchable in ways they will never understand. That's the freedom the Stoics talked about. That's the moment you step out of their reflection and finally stand in your own light. Number 2. Master the pause before you respond. When someone strikes you with their words or actions, the first instinct is to strike back. Anger surges like a tidal wave, and for a moment it feels righteous. You think, if I roar louder, if I hit harder, I'll take back what they stole from me. But that's the illusion. Anger doesn't return your power. It chains you to theirs. It's a reflex they control, a script they wrote, and you're just reading your lines. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But that power doesn't reveal itself when you're shouting, when you're swinging, when you're burning with rage. It reveals itself in the pause, the razor-thin moment between their offense and your response. That's the battlefield where most people lose, because they don't even know it exists. Friedrich Nietzsche captured this perfectly. Beware that when fighting monsters, you yourself do not become a monster. What does that mean in the raw, human sense? It means if you respond to cruelty with cruelty, you've handed them the ultimate victory. They've turned you into a reflection of their own darkness. But if you pause, if you stand still in that mental storm and refuse to let their venom dictate your next move, you become something they can't touch, someone who shapes himself instead of being shaped by others. Think of their words as a lit match. They toss it at you expecting an explosion. Most people oblige. They throw their emotions on it like gasoline, and suddenly they're both burning in the same fire. But the pause changes everything. In that moment, you breathe, you observe, you let their match hit the ground and die on its own while you remain whole. That isn't weakness. That's power at its purest form. Power that doesn't need to announce itself because it's already won. And here's what happens when you master it. Silence becomes your sharpest blade. People who try to provoke you realize they can't reach you anymore, and it unsettles them. Their chaos bounces off you like waves against a rock. Over time, you see what so few ever understand. That the pause isn't about restraint, it's about control. Not control over them, but control over yourself. That's when you stop reacting like everyone else. That's when you become untouchable. Not because the world stopped throwing matches at you, but because you learned how to never let them burn. Number 3. Detach without bitterness. Letting go is not about erasing the past or pretending the wound never bled. It's not some cold, hollow act of shutting off your feelings like a broken machine. No, real detachment is a fierce war cry from your soul. It's the savage refusal to let their venom live inside you. No rent paid, no stay extended, no lease signed. People confuse detachment with numbness, thinking it means deadening your heart until it no longer feels. That's a lie. The real battle is to guard your heart fiercely, to hold it like a fortress while still letting it beat wildly, alive and unbroken. Seneca wasn't just throwing words when he said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity." Pain is not your enemy, it's your forge. Detachment isn't hiding from the storm, it's standing in the eye of it, untouched. Imagine your mind like a raging river, swollen and violent. Their cruel words, their betrayals, their lies, their debris churning on the surface, toxic garbage trying to choke your flow. If you clutch that junk, if you fight to keep it close, you sink. You drown in a flood of rage, bitterness, and sorrow. But if you loosen your grip, let it drift past like trash caught in the current, your waters clear, your mind sharp, you stay afloat, untouchable. Most people carry resentment like a suit of armor, convinced it's protection. But bitterness is a millstone around your neck, heavy, suffocating, and lethal. It's the chain that drags you deeper into the prison built by someone else's cruelty. Every ounce of hatred you carry is a shackle tightening, a cell door slamming shut on your freedom. Detachment is the key that shatters those chains. It's the lighter you become when you refuse to carry their weight any longer. You don't walk away because you're weak. You walk away because you are reborn, sovereign over your own spirit, a goddamn force of nature unleashed. When their memory surfaces, don't fight it like it's an enemy you must conquer. Don't feed it like a starving beast gnawing at your sanity. Let it slide through your mind like smoke, ephemeral, harmless, fading into nothingness. That's the power no one teaches you, the power to stop being a prisoner of your own past. That's the moment you reclaim your life, your peace, your soul. From that raw silence, you rise, stronger, wilder, untouchable, free. Number 4. Transform the hurt into fuel. Pain is a ruthless beast standing at the crossroads of your life. It offers two paths. One drags you down into a grave where dreams go to die. The other forges you in fire into something fierce, something that refuses to break. The difference isn't the pain itself. Pain shows no mercy. The difference is what you do with that hellfire burning inside. Stoicism teaches us this brutal truth. Suffering is not your enemy. It's a weapon in the hands of those bold enough to take control. The wound you carry isn't a scar of defeat. It's the spark of a revolution raging beneath your skin. When Marcus Aurelius said, "What stands in the way becomes the way," he wasn't whispering empty words. He was slamming a hammer down on the anvil of your soul. Every scar, every jagged crack in your heart, every sleepless night is not a tombstone for who you were. It's the foundation for the goddamn empire you're building. Imagine a blacksmith in a dark, sweat-soaked forge, muscles trembling, eyes fierce, staring down molten metal that screams with heat. The flames that burn and melt the old shape are the same flames that shape something sharper, stronger, unstoppable. That blacksmith isn't someone else, that's you. The fire is your pain. The new form is your rebirth. Don't just survive the hurt. Rip that pain out of your chest and slam it into fuel. Pour it into every breath, every step, every grind. Train your body like a warrior sculpting a weapon. Sharpen your mind like a razor honed on the edge of madness. Build a life so ferocious, so unpredictable, that those who tried to shatter you watch in disbelief, broken by the ghost of what they thought they'd destroyed. This isn't revenge, this is proof. Proof that their attempts to kill your flame only lit a wildfire. The most haunting thing for those who tried to break you: seeing you rise higher than the stars they claimed you'd never reach. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't need their approval. Your transformation is your thunder, silent, brutal, and shaking the earth beneath their feet without a single word. Let your life scream louder than any grudge ever could. Turn your hurt into a storm so fierce it drowns out every doubt, every lie, every shadow of your past. You don't just live through pain. You conquer it. You rise beyond it. You become unstoppable. Number 5. Set boundaries and never apologize for them. You don't owe anyone access to your soul, not the ones who've cracked it open only to tear pieces out. Setting boundaries isn't about pushing people away. It's about drawing a line so fierce and unbreakable that it screams, "This is where I end," and you don't cross. For too long, you've let the wrong people wander through the halls of your mind, leaving chaos like a storm that never clears. Now, it's time to build walls so high they blot out the noise and protect what's left of your peace. But those walls, they have gates. Gates you alone hold the keys to. Only those worthy will pass. That's not cruelty, that's survival. Epictetus didn't mince words when he said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Boundaries shake people. They're uncomfortable because they force others to see your value or lack thereof. Some will call you cold, selfish, distant. Let them. Those words mean nothing coming from lips that never earned a place in your story. Real respect doesn't question your limits. It bows to them. Those who ignore your boundaries were never truly in your corner. They were just vultures circling, waiting for a feast. Now the feast is closed. Visualize your life as a fortress, once wide open, vulnerable. Every stranger walking through like they owned the place. Muddy footprints, broken locks, shattered trust scattered everywhere. That ends now. You stand at the gates with fire in your eyes and iron in your grip. You decide who steps inside, how far they roam, and what garbage they must leave outside. This is not weakness masquerading as kindness. It's the hard-won wisdom of someone who's been burned and refuses to light that fire again. Here's the truth you must own. You do not owe a single apology for protecting yourself. Your boundaries are the battleground where your self-respect battles manipulation and wins. Each time you enforce those lines, you roar back to the world. I am not your victim. I am not your playground. I will not be broken again. That roar isn't quiet. It shakes the earth beneath your feet. It is the anthem of your freedom, and nothing, no one, will silence it. The people who hurt you left wounds, deep and jagged. But those scars, they aren't signs of defeat. They're badges of survival, proof that you stared into the abyss and refused to blink. Stoicism teaches a brutal truth. Strength isn't some hollow absence of pain. Real strength is a fierce alchemy, turning raw agony into unstoppable power. Pain doesn't break you. It builds you. It forges a soul sharper, tougher, and more relentless than ever before. You've learned to shatter the illusion that their poison defines you. You've separated their reflection from your reality, breaking free from the chains of memory and hurt. You've mastered the art of pause. Where most react, you reclaim control. You've detached without losing your heart, transforming every wound into a stepping stone of growth. And finally, you've built walls around your peace so fierce that no shadow can touch it. This is your revolution, quiet, relentless, and wild. It's the roaring flame in the darkest night. Your rise doesn't wait for permission. It starts the moment you decide it will. This path is yours alone. Own it, walk it, and let the world tremble at the sound of your freedom unleashed. If this hit you deep, don't just watch. Make your voice thunder. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Because your climb to power, your unstoppable rise, begins now.